Ambassador Kethvar adjusted his crystalline throat sac as the laughter died down in the grand chamber of the Galactic Tribunal. The assembled representatives of 47 species had just finished reviewing Earth's petition for inclusion in the Galactic Council, and the human delegation sat in uncomfortable silence at their designated bench. Truly, Kethvar wheezed through his translator, his 6 eyes gleaming with amusement. This is the most entertaining petition we've received in centuries. A species that has existed for a mere 200,000 years believes it deserves a seat among civilizations that have spanned millions? High Chancellor Zeftul of the Andromedian Collective rose from her throne, her massive form casting shadows across the chamber. "Let us review their achievements," she said, her voice dripping with condescension. "They've mastered nuclear fusion, barely. Their fastest ships require decades to reach their nearest star. They still engage in primitive warfare over territorial disputes." The Vorthon representative, Commander Kickstal, gestured dismissively with his forearms. "My species was building interdimensional gateways when these humans were still discovering fire. What could they possibly offer the Council?" Dr. Sarah Chen, Earth's chief ambassador, stood slowly. Her small frame was dwarfed by the alien delegates surrounding her, but her voice carried clearly through the vast chamber. "We offer something. You've forgotten, honorable council members. We offer adaptability." The laughter resumed, louder this time. Kethvar wiped moisture from his primary eye. "Adaptability? Child, the Tribunal's fortress moon has stood unconquered for 3 million years. Our combined fleets number in the billions. What could your little blue world possibly do that would concern us?" "Nothing that would concern you," Dr. Chen replied calmly, taking her seat. "Today." The session adjourned with Earth's petition formally rejected, the human delegation dismissed with barely concealed contempt. As the representatives dispersed to their quarters aboard the Fortress Moon, none noticed the small maintenance pod that had docked during the proceedings. To their sensors, it registered as a routine supply vessel from the Kepler station. Commander Kickstal was reviewing intelligence reports in his private chambers when his aide burst through the door, tentacles writhing in distress. "Commander, there's been an incident at the human settlement on Kepler 442b. "What kind of incident?" Kickstal asked, not looking up from his datapad. "They're gone, sir. All of them. 70,000 colonists vanished without a trace. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no ion signatures from ships. They simply disappeared." Across the Fortress Moon, similar reports flooded in. Human colonies throughout the Outer Rim had simultaneously gone dark. Mining operations, research stations, trading posts, empty. As if an entire species had decided to play the galaxy's largest game of hide-and-seek. High Chancellor Zeftul convened an emergency session 3 days later. The Great Chamber buzzed with nervous energy as delegates shared intelligence reports and theories. Some suggested a plague, others mass teleportation technology, though none could explain how such primitive beings could have developed either. "It's clearly a coordinated retreat," Kethvar announced confidently. "Humans have recognized their inadequacy and withdrawn from galactic affairs entirely. Good riddance." But Admiral Thisica of the Centauri Defense Fleet wasn't convinced. Her tactical mind had noticed something others had missed. "The timing troubles me," she said, her scaled features creased in thought. Every human outpost went dark within a 6-hour window, across a span of 12,000 light-years. Their ships couldn't coordinate something like that. "Perhaps they had help," suggested the ethereal representative, its voice a whisper of static. "Another species working in shadow?" The debate continued for hours until a junior technician from the Fortress Moon's engineering section requested permission to address the council. The massive chamber fell silent as the small Kaloran shuffled forward, his fur standing on end with nervousness. "Honorable delegates," he squeaked. "I've been analyzing our station's maintenance records. 3 days ago, during the human petition hearing, a supply pod docked at Bay 17. The manifest listed it as carrying atmospheric processors from Kepler station, but what?" Zeftul demanded. "The pod was empty when it left, Your Excellency. And our internal sensor logs show anomalous readings from the time it was docked. Microscopic changes in the station's superstructure, as if something was sampling our construction materials. A chill settled over the chamber. Admiral Thisike's tail lashed behind her as the implications became clear. How long would it take to analyze our defenses, our power systems, our structural weak points? The technician consulted his datapad with trembling claws. For a sufficiently advanced AI, perhaps 72 hours, Your Excellency. As if summoned by his words, every screen in the chamber flickered to life. Dr. Chen's face appeared, but she was no longer on the small diplomatic vessel. Behind her stretched what appeared to be a vast command center, filled with holographic displays and bustling with activity. "Greetings, members of the Galactic Tribunal," she said, her earlier deference replaced by quiet confidence. "We wanted to thank you for your thorough review of our petition." "Impossible," Kethvar sputtered. "Our sensors show nothing. No fleet, no installations." "You're correct," Dr. Chen interrupted smoothly. "Your sensors show nothing because we're not there to be seen. Humanity learned something valuable during our brief stay in your territory. You've become comfortable with your superiority, complacent." The screens shifted to show external views of the fortress moon. Empty space, stretching in all directions. Then the perspective began to pull back and gasps echoed through the chamber. The massive installation that had been their impregnable stronghold was now sitting inside what appeared to be a colossal cargo bay. "3 days ago you asked what we could offer," Dr. Chen continued. "We offer something you've lost. The element of surprise. While you debated our primitive technology, we dissected your fortress moon atom by atom, learned its secrets, and built something you apparently never considered possible, a ship large enough to simply take it." Panic erupted in the chamber as delegates realized their predicament. Zeftul's voice boomed over the chaos. "What do you want, human?" Dr. Chen smiled. "What we wanted from the beginning. A seat at the table, recognition that intelligence and ingenuity matter more than age or firepower. The understanding that underestimating others is a luxury you can no longer afford." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Your fortress is unharmed, your people safe. Consider this a demonstration, not an attack. We'll return you to your space shortly, but first..." The view shifted again, showing the impossible. Hundreds of ships emerging from what had appeared to be empty space, their hulls shimmering as stealth fields deactivated. Each vessel bore the insignia of humanity, not the primitive craft the tribunal expected, but sleek warships that made their own fleets look like museum pieces. "We've spent the last 72 hours showing ourselves around the galaxy," Dr. Chen explained. "Meeting your client species, your trading partners, your enemies. Amazing how many civilizations are interested in new friends who don't demand tribute or submission." Admiral Tisika's voice was barely a whisper. "How many ships?" "Enough," Dr. Chen replied simply. "The question now is whether the Galactic Council would like a partner or prefers to continue believing its own mythology about invincibility." The chamber fell silent except for the hum of life support systems. High Chancellor Zeftul slowly lowered herself back onto her throne, the weight of a new reality settling upon her massive shoulders. "The Council," she said carefully, "will reconsider Earth's petition." Dr. Chen nodded graciously. "We look forward to productive negotiations. Oh, and Chancellor, next time someone you don't recognize asks for a seat at your table, you might want to check if they're already sitting in your chair." The screens went dark, leaving the most powerful beings in the galaxy to contemplate a universe where humanity was no longer the primitive species seeking approval, but the unknown quantity that had outplayed them all.